right? It's life. Yep, it's live. It's life stuff. It's like family stuff. It's personal stuff, and then you got business on top of it with business stuff. I was talking to somebody yesterday. I think what happens in this business is what just if everybody could just take a moment, right, and just imagine what you came into the business for, what you thought you were going to get, right, by being in this business, what you thought you were going to accomplish, the type of life you thought you were going to accomplish. And most people fell short, right? They're not there yet, right? And what they do is you end up falling into this like comfort space, right? You end up falling into the space where you're like, I'm doing good, but you came to do great, right? And you end up doing good because it's so hard and it's been so like treacherous, and you're just like, it'll take longer than I thought, which is fine. That's fine. But I think it takes longer when you thought the minute you say to yourself, it's going to take longer than I thought, right? Because then every action you gear is towards the longer process. I think there's ways to make it go faster. You just have to rekindle the fire and just really, really remember, like, why did you get in the business? Did you get in the business to do X? Did you get in the business to do 50 deals? Did you get in the business to do 100 deals? I had somebody tell me yesterday that they got in the business and they're like, I think I'm going to be capped at 60 deals. Well, how do you think that person is going to break through 60 deals? They're not, because they think they're going to be capped at 60 deals. I think you have to take the limits off yourself, because what happens is we all get stuck. You know what I mean? You got to put yourself in different circles. We all get stuck, and what happens is you basically just sit there and you go, I came for 100 deals, 200 deals, 500 deals, and I'm settling for 50 deals because it's good enough, right? You make a little bit of money. It's good enough. But persistence is weird. The minute you stop being persistent is the minute that the long-term game changes for you, right? So, for instance, if you came to do 100 deals, you're, say, at 20 deals right now, or even 10 deals right now, you don't see the end of that ladder. But all you got to figure out is, how do I do 20 deals, right? In the same time I did 10 deals, or condense the time that I did my 10 deals, right? And then you do your 50 deals, you do your 100 deals. I think you have to have a big vision, and you constantly have to kind of check yourself. You just can't stop. Does that make sense? Anybody have any questions about that?
No, it makes perfect sense. I think that's 100% on the money. You can't really not stop, and you cannot settle, because the moment you do, the moment your whole thinking stops and changes. And speaking on that topic, which is a great point, one of the things people ask us, like, what you do different? What are you doing different? Besides it being compounding of everything we've learned and everything we studied and the people we shadowed and intentionally working on growing our business, it's really the biggest thing we changed is our thinking. And the way we changed our thinking is we're thinking much bigger. So if we were like, hey, we came for 100 deals, now we're going, oh, we could do 200 deals. And how do you get to that level of thinking is really by going out there and getting on a call like this, hanging out with people that are doing bigger than you. Because there's people on this call that'll do 10 deals, and there's people on this call that'll do 100 deals. And then there's people like Kyle on this call that'll do like 500 deals, right? So you got such a variety. But when you talk to Kyle and when you get on the call and you talk to me and my brother, you're like, whoa, these guys are number one in their market. If they can do it, why can't I do it? And the truth is, you can do it. You just have to persist, overcome those obstacles, and really start thinking bigger and at a higher level, right, guys?
Yeah, and I heard this one time, the longest distance is between your head, right? So the longest time that it takes to cultivate results is as long as it takes you to change your mind, change your thinking, change your thought processes about leads, about how you're going to get them, about how you're going to close business, about how you're going to walk into these different pieces of real estate, and why should they list with you. It's mindset. I think after you acquire the mindset, the other things change. One thing that we've done that's completely helped our business 150% is every month we would go and we would learn for a whole day, right? Didn't matter if we had deals going on or not. We'd just take a day take a ride. We'd go to another market, right, like in our area, and we basically learn from them. We would say, can we spend a whole day with you? And you don't have to learn everything. But just being around the people that are doing it at such a high level, what happens is you go, wow, man, they think like this, or they think like that, or
Right.
I didn't think that was possible. And then all of a sudden you start saying, wow, maybe I should think like this. Because it's more or less how you think about it, not what you're doing, you know? When you start changing the way you think about the business and the way you think about acquiring the business, then your business starts changing rapidly, rapidly. And if you do that for the next 12 months, right, we actually did an interview with the owner and founder of Vulcan. If you want, you can get a good deal if you mention DNA Realty Group. But basically, what's his name? Ron, right? Is it Ron? I
No,
forget.
it's shoot.
Anyway, it doesn't whatever. He wouldn't mind. Well, we met him in Texas, and we had a good interview with him. And we basically were talking to him, and what it comes down to, the difference between agents that take 2 to 3 listings every single week and agents that don't is mindset and intention, right? The agents that take 3 listings a week, right, get 2, 3 new buyers a week, it's intention. That's what they intend to do. And if you can't get yourself mentally to the point of intending to do that stuff, the rest isn't just going to fall into place, right? It doesn't just fall down like that. You have to set your intentions properly, and then after that, yeah, the thing's going to take off. You know what I mean? But you have to work in the meantime. My brother and I had full-time jobs for the first 5 years of our career, right? Now we're in year 10, and we're hitting these different little strides, and it's awesome. But between year 1 and year 10 was a lot of like bullshit. You know what I mean? The road was not easy. It's not going to be easy because if it was easy, right, they say everybody would do it. So all you got to do is just persist. When life stuff happens, and like let's face it, right? I've had relationships fall apart during this time. I've had things in my personal life not work out in this time. I've had times when I was like mentally not there 100%, but you still got to get up and go because every time you fall victim to, oh my God, my year is going bad. Oh my God, this month is going bad. Oh my God, this week's going bad. I'll get back to it next week. I'll get back to it next month. That puts a dent in your process. You have to be mentally strong. You have to figure out ways to get yourself to be mentally strong. Okay? So how do you do that?
Mm-hmm.
You gotta go ahead.
No, I just hopped on. I'm sorry. I just wanted to let you know I was on. So just keep going. Keep doing.
Yeah. So you gotta. Kyle, what's up, man? So you gotta figure out a way to be mentally strong. If shit happens in your life, right, and like relationships don't work out, and you're having a bad month, that's not enough. If you let that put a dent in your mental thinking, guess what's going to happen? Then this year is going to look like last year, and next year you're not going to be anywhere. You're going to be in the same place because you decided to wallow in your, like negative mindset. You just cannot do that in this business. If you're a leader and a rainmaker on your team, you have to be a captain. You have to be a leader. You have to do the things mentally that are going to prepare you and your team essentially for like war, right? Like your own war. You're there, you're going in to win. And to win, you got to think like a winner, Anybody have any questions about that?
No, I think that's a perfect point. You really can't afford to have a bad day when you're at the top. You could have a bad minute or two. They call it a 60-second funeral. But then if you're really at the top of your game and you're leading the team, you have to stay mentally focused and just physically focused and know that it's all about the goal. Kyle, what's up, brother?
What's going on, boys?
We're talking about persistence and overcoming obstacles. You want to jump in? Drop some heat?
Yeah, I mean, I think what I would say is, it's funny. So last night, I was supposed to have dinner with a client, and he got tied up, so he couldn't make it. So I was at the, I was sitting at a table kind of just by myself, and it happened to be 2 other real estate people that I know. and we were talking, and we were just kind of going over, everything regarding kind of real estate. And he was just like, yeah, you know, I had a bad 5 years. Everything that could have went wrong went wrong. You know, mentally, I can't get out of my own way. You know, I got this, you know, my kids, you know, I got to be around for my kids. My wife and I split. You know, there was just, and what I said is, I said, just stop for a minute, stop, right? In the last 5 minutes, all you've done is tell me why you can't do it, right? You've given me every excuse as to why you can't be successful in real estate. I look at you and I say, this guy's very well capable. He's intelligent. He presents himself well, but all he does is make excuses as to why he can't. So he's rationalizing his lack there of success, right? So it comes down to like persistence and mindset. Like, you would have no idea the shit I'm going, like the shit I go through or went through or I have went through or are going through every day, because I never let anyone know that, right? That's not part, like, that's noise. That's what I call noise. And that noise, right, can't get involved in my business day. So my business day has to be business, right? A business day for me, I don't have a day where I can sit down and sulk and be like, oh my God, I don't know what, you know, I can't believe this. I'm so depressed. I'm so, you know, I got to just go home and go to sleep. Like, that shit doesn't happen. That doesn't work, right? That doesn't work for me. So like, you want to be like that, and you want to have that, you know, that ability to kind of shut down. Well, then that's not the right mindset to take it to the next level and be better than last year. You need to be able to block all that out, be persistent enough, and be able to basically continue to move forward, whether you're having a good, bad, or terrible day. It doesn't matter. Like, the way my day goes doesn't matter. You know, does that make sense?
Oh yeah, it makes perfect sense, and that's the kind of exactly what we're talking about here. Is your ability to not let things get in the way, because the moment you do, you really take a backseat to your goals. And I mean, if you're achieving something big at a high level, especially at the level you're doing it, Kyle, obstacles do come up, and like you said, most people wouldn't believe the stuff you go through because you don't let them see it, but it's literally daily, right? Like at a business where you have
guys, like I was right. So like I was telling the guy yesterday, I'm like, yo, some of the shit I've been through in the last 6 months and change and had to operate and change and do, like, most people would just quit, be like, fuck it, like, I don't want, I'm good. I'm not like that though. Like, that's just the thing. Like, I don't operate like that. I don't let my personal business get in the way of my professional business, because now you're in a double-edged sword. Now you've got personal issues or personal problems or personal things that are going good, bad, or indifferent. And now you've added to that professional issues where you're not successful, you're not performing at your level. Now you're in a rut because now you can't get out. So now your psyche is totally wrong. You're in the total wrong psyche now, right? So for me, it's like you have to want to be persistent, though. I can't tell you to be persistent. You have to want that. You have to want to get up every day and go out there and fight and battle and be the best you can be in every avenue. If you just get up and you just kind of go with the flow and go with the wind, that's not going to work, right? That doesn't work. That's not the recipe for success. The recipe for success is you punch me in the mouth once, I'm going to punch your ass back in the mouth 5 times, right? So you're going to have to knock me down and run me over, right? So that's persistency. Anyone can perform at a high level when everything is unicorns and balloons, right? Anyone can perform at a high level when it's unicorns and balloons. But when shit hits the fan, how do you come back from that, right? How do you come back from missing the game-winning shot? How do you come back from being told by 10 sellers, you're not good enough to get my listed, I'm going to go with someone else? How do you come back from a buyer saying, you're too busy for me right now, I'm going to use someone else? How do you come back from your personal life, your kids saying, Daddy, you're not home, or Daddy this, or whatever your situation is? Like, how do you battle from that and take that stuff and make it into, and spin it, what I call a spin doctorate, into a positive, right? That's the question. The question is not how do you operate in a great environment. That's easy, right? So that's simplicity. So persistence, endurance, the ability to find negatives and turn them into positives, like that's something that anyone can do. But I can't tell you how to do that. You need to figure that out on your own. And just like this guy last night, so he's like, how do you do it, or how do you close so much, or how do you do what you do? And what I said is like, listen, dude, I can tell you everything I do, every single thing. And people ask me all the time, what do you do? How do you do whatever? It's not about how do I do it. It's about a mental focus. It's the mentality, right? So like every day we have the ability to focus on different things. You need to use your ability to focus on the things that are important to you. If you don't, then it's not that important to you. If it were important, you'd be focused. I don't have to tell you to be focused on it. That's when you know you're doing something you love and you're passionate about. When I don't have to tell you to focus on something, it just inherently happens, right? And that's the ability and the want and will to succeed and to do anything it takes to get to that level. I mean, I could go out, and I don't go out that often, but I could go out to 3 a.m, and I don't allow that to get in the way of my next day. I'm up at 6:30, guys. It doesn't matter. That's a me problem if I stayed out late and I don't have time and I'm tired. That's my problem. That shouldn't get in the way of my business, right? So that's the big difference there.
So for your friend who was in a rut, so say somebody's already in a rut, they're down that deep hole, he's already complaining and being negative. Did you give him any advice, or what would you say to somebody that's already in that place but really does want to turn it around, really does want to get out and get back on the winning track? I know it's really difficult to change momentum, but what did you tell him to do?
I said, dude, you're making a million excuses. The only excuse is on you. The problem is you. It's not anybody else. The problem is you. You're making excuses for why you can't succeed the way you want. Then you need to make a change. If something's not working, you need to change it. You need to make a change, and you need to surround yourself with people that are looking to do better. When you surround yourself with the same people all the time that keeping you in that rut, that have that same mentality, you're a product of your environment. It's osmosis. It travels just through. So like what I said is, like, if you don't like what you're doing, you need to change. And if you can't change, then don't, you can't get mad at anybody else. That's on you. Like, I can't put that inside of you. I can't say to you, you want to succeed. There's no blueprint. For the mental part, that is on you. You have to have the ability to change, the ability to pivot, the ability to want and desire more, the ability to want to be the best or the worst or whatever that looks like. But that is on you. And then you have to make a game plan.
Right. It's all on you. And I think the first step is to changing the way you think, right? Because action just follows.
And everyone, and one thing I would say, guys, is luck is a big part of this game. Luck happens to people that put themselves in position to be lucky. If you don't do shit every day and you hang out and just fucking wake up at 10 or 12 or whatever, you're not in a position to be lucky.
Yeah, I got a story about that too. Like, sometimes you go out networking and you meet a guy doing 100, 150 deals, and he's like, "Oh," I'm like, "What do you do?" And I've heard this multiple times. Like, I was doing an open house. This investor walked in, and he's like, "Yo, I buy houses for this development group," and now he's using me for every deal. And I've heard there's a variation of that story like 15 times. And I'm like, "Oh, that dude got lucky, right?" But at the end of the day, he didn't get lucky because he got off his ass, he put his pants on, and he went out there and he did that open house. Ask yourself how many times you said, "I'm not doing that open house because that house stinks. Nobody's going to show up," right? Just by showing up, you give your ability to get lucky. Even with us, we sold a couple big commercial buildings and worked our asses off to sell them. Then a guy calls us. He's like, "Yo, guys, I saw what you did. I got 15 buildings I want you to sell." Yeah, that's lucky, but we never would have got that opportunity if we weren't out there selling buildings. You know what I mean?
You can't get lucky if you're not in the right space.
Right.
You can't. It just.
Absolutely, 100%. Kyle's coming on hot, dropping heat this morning. I love it. Man, it's all about persistence. It's all about overcoming obstacles. We hang out with Kyle all the time. We see all the stuff he goes through, and you would never be able to tell. Sometimes he fools me. I'm like, damn, this guy got no problems. He is lucky, huh? But it's all mindset, guys. It's all mindset. Kyle,
right.
David, anything you guys want to say to wrap up the call? It's almost 8:30, and I know you guys are both slammed.
I'll just add this on. Just like you wake up and you get dressed, right? You put on your best outfit every morning. You have to wake up and put your best outfit. Like you have to dress your mind every single morning, right?
Your mental outfit. Your mental outfit. I like that.
Woo!
Put your best mental outfit on every day. If you dress like a bum, you perform like a bum. Goodbye. I got to get off this. Have a good day.
I love it. If you dress like a bum, you perform like a bum. But yeah, guys.
Dress like a bum. Don't be a mental bum.
Don't be a mental bum. D, what were you going to say? Wrap it up.
That's what I was going to say, man. You just got to you got to put your best mental attitude, right? You got to dress up your mind. Like put your mind in a suit of success. Just like you put your body in a nice outfit, you put your body in a nice suit, you go out there, you look well on the outside. Well, you got to look well on the inside because let's face it, right? Most of life is energy. And when your energy is bad, you ever have somebody that just walks into a room and maybe they have a smile on their face, but something feels off. That's energy, right? So you ever have the same person walk into the room, they might not even have a smile on their face, but it just feels like they're looking good, they're feeling good. You're like, man, you look like you're doing good today, right? And I think that's just like a mental attitude. And a mental attitude can change, like Tony Robbins says, motion creates your emotion. You got to move, you got to do these things. Your mental attitude just doesn't change by sitting on your ass, right? So you got to get up. You got to dress up your mind, right? To view the world the best, to view your business the best, and it's not easy. It's not always easy. It's never going to be easy because it's just a work. It's a constant work. But guess what? Sitting on your ass and wallowing in your misery is work also. It's just which work are you going to do? And it has to be done daily, right? At some point you become so mentally strong, but if you just stop constantly reminding yourself and working on your mindset, guess what? It's going to fall apart, like a building that's not taken care of, eventually like fucking grass starts growing up the side, you know what I mean? So you just have to learn to constantly take care of yourself and just remind yourself, as long as you're in a space, it is constant. It is not like, oh, I put in my time. I did all my work. I worked so hard. This should last me. Once you get into that mindset, that's a failure, right? So the biggest thing that when I was talking to somebody, I was telling them is the biggest struggle to success is when other people tell you that you're doing good. When you get a little bit of success, because then it makes you feel a level of comfort. My biggest struggle, like in life, I lost like so much weight, and but when I was losing weight, when I'd come around people and I had lost like 20 pounds or 30 pounds, they'd be like, man, you look good. And I felt like I looked so good. I'm like, man, I worked so hard. Yeah, you're right. But I didn't get to my goal, and I was feeling like I was doing good. It's good to have little roadblocks of greatness, you know what I mean? But you can't let somebody telling you you're doing good stop you from doing great, right? You got to go after what you came for. That's what I'll finish with. You just got to go after what you came for.
Don't let good be the enemy of great. Mic drop. Good stuff, guys. This call is free. Make sure you invite people. Hop on next week. We're always here. We're always teaching. You're literally learning from the number one guys in their market. Anybody who's not doing as good as they want to and is not on this call, it's like, at the end of the day, that's a decision you made. So, guys, let's get people on it, spread the word, and we'll talk to you next week.
Woo!
Thank you, guys. Mic drop. All right, have a good one.
You too.